Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me immense pleasure to introduce our next keynote speaker, Adrien Roberts, International Director of Education, Academia Costume and Moda, Italy. For many years, Adrien has been an executive trustee and part of the executive committee of the charity of Graduate Fashion Foundation, London. Adrien has been an official talent scout at events, jury member, mentor, and inspirational guide attending events, fashion institutions, and fashion weeks internationally. Constantly passionate about design, Adrien continues to research, design, and create. Being involved in education, Adrien sees the best opportunity not only to inspire, but to also learn, experiment, and expand knowledge across cultures and disciplines. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome from across the seven seas, Adrien, as he is also joining us virtually. Over to you, Adrien.
Thank you so much for that beautiful introduction. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear
And
you.
it's great to be back. Thank you. And it's great to be back in Pune, even if I am just here virtually and I can't physically be with you. Hopefully, soon I'll be back. I'd like to firstly just quickly thank Dr. Hundika for asking me to make this small presentation. It's quite small because she realized the quality or the value of the work that her ex-student, who's actually at academia, had produced, and realized it would work nicely within this talk. So let me just start and try and share my screen. Yes, let's see if I'm doing it correctly. Okay, then I can start. So thank you. Hand in Hand 2021. So we're exploring the artisanal craft and iconic fashion product design, presenting the work of both Academia Costume Moda Masters Accessory Design students that have undertaken with Fendi in the recreation of the iconic accessories. This is an image from when we presented the work in Milan just last October. So Academia Costume Moda and Fendi Artisanal Craft. Within this project, it was essential to research and explore and rediscover in depth the students' local craft. So each student had to look for their local craft. From the originals of each student's research, experiment, and design to generate a new aesthetic and contemporary solutions to create a design proposal with a global perspective. Made in Italy has a strong craft roots that are globally renowned. This is a key element to understand the enormous success of one of the most celebrated authentic fashion brands, Fendi, based here in Rome. We'll get to this example later that we see here on the right. So the actual project was given to the students, but first Fendi have created their main project called Hand in Hand. It stems from a long history based around the original baguette design from 1997 by Silvia Ventura Fendi, and since then become an iconic element of the Fendi brand. The bag itself leads it as an ideal blank canvas on which to experiment with traditions, artisans' know-how, culture, and craft, as we'll be seeing. Fendi has been working with local Italian craftspeople, artisans, to create limited edition bags of a maximum of 20 pieces for each process, respecting the unique craft of the artisan. The brand has rediscovered, in the various regions of Italy, artisans' specialized workshops. Each baguette contains the name of the artisan workshop where it's made, a sign of safeguarding and enhancing fundamental heritage for Made in Italy, and consequently for the brands that have their own distinctive interpretation of luxury. Luxury that has become an instrument to rediscover value of professionalism of the artisan tradition, the craft heritage which also promotes its excellence. There we see one example from the exhibition of a solid silver crafted bag. So now we're going to talk about the students' work. So Academia Costume Moda Hand in Hand for Fendi. The Master Design students have recreated the Hand in Hand for Fendi project themselves. This encouraged exploration of different skills from local artisan crafts from each individual student's heritage. But here I'm just giving you 4 examples of bags and shoe prototypes as design ideas from our students. Um, Obviously, I'm presenting 2 Indian students and 1 from Spain and another from Italy. So the first one is actually, we can look at the last image. That's Andrea Falchi's from Sardinia. That's one of his prototype examples. So he called his project Mother as the native creative journey of people and processes that for millennia have made up the island of Sardinia unique. So Sardinia, a small island in the Mediterranean with its own unique identity and crafts. Andrea interpreted of Hand in Hand incorporates both contemporary artisans with local materials traditions to develop his own vision for iconic accessories. So artisans, artists, traditional heritage, and materials he put in to create something new. So Sardinia were artisans and artists such as Costantino Nivola have developed their own vision of the island. And here we see some of his initial sketches, ideas. As you know me at Soft, I love the sketches and initial ideas where people start. And we can see the relationship between the artist's work and his work and how it came together. From the cork oak trees that populate most of the island, local craftspeople have found ways to obtain material that is soft, resistant, and smooth, consistency, and for multiple uses. Hence, Andrea choose to incorporate cork into a luxury brand. Sardinia is also associated with filigree work, fine gold threads at work to create filigree jewellery, combined with the fact that the island is in the main producer of cork in the world. He put both these 2 processes together. So interesting how he related filigree jewellery to the cork material. From this parallelism, he interpreted the cork thread used by artisans as his version of Sardinia gold, when he created a process that incorporates craft, filigree design work, and cork thread. These are some examples of his work in progress making in laboratory at Accademia Costa Memoria, experimenting with cork as a luxurious fabric to be rediscovered in fashion design. Traditional materials with traditional techniques, but unusual combination applied to a fashion luxury product, creating originality and newness. Okay, this is going to be interesting for you. So this is the soft student that came to academia to study with us. So we're very proud to have her with us. I'm proud to present her work to you. So she focused obviously on Paithani weaving, which I shouldn't really be introducing this to you because you all know it so well. So it's handloom craft style, including traditional motifs, with the student's intention to show how the craft could be elevated beyond wedding wear towards international fashion luxury. Okay, there's a silver bag, and then this is some of the work of Andrea Falchi that we were talking about from Sardinia and how he worked with the cork material and also combining it with filigree work and artist work. Some of his sketches. And some of the examples of his work finished. Okay. Are we with Paithani weaving? You see the screen? Okay. So here we were just talking about the luxury market and how the craft lends itself well to fashion, and this is some of the design works the student undertook. And you can probably read that and how she combined the logo with traditional elements as well. And here are some of the original ideas that she created for Fendi using the craft. Example also of shoes. And some of the finished work that she created. Hopefully you can still see that and still moving. So we go on to another student's work. This is the work of Joaquin Marco from Palma de Mallorca in Spain. Explored a variety of artisans' craft, used traditional costume of Palma, the woven button making, thunderstorm, pleating, lace making, etc. With the design process, the student interestingly used contamination with the diverse subject of car seats, exploring tradition, costume, and craft alongside construction techniques of car seats. I know it seems quite strange, but when we're focusing on two contrasting fonts of research, fusing them together using both research elements to discover newness is a good design process. So I always refer to this as contamination. Some examples of his design work contaminating different ideas from tradition and modern car seats. The contamination of new and traditional crafts assists the student in relocating the work of the artisan to develop a new project. Newness being an essential element of fashion product design rather than the simple repetition of traditional craft. So this is how we elevate craft to fashion product design, by putting some element of newness. Contamination design process supports a less literal translation from research to design. So he had his very own special way of creating. These are some of his prototypes that he created. You can see the pleated leather and the specially made handmade buttons from his traditions, and more examples here of experimental 3D design for the shoes for the hand-in-hand project with Fendi. Examples of some of his sketches, and you can see how he's related the car seats to traditions, exploration with diverse materials, working with Fendi, and the incorporation of those hand-woven buttons in his design work, and some more design work there. The hand-woven buttons from the traditional costumes of Parma de Mallorca take prime position in the detailing of the sandal. Traditional shoe from costumes were also explored in contemporary form. So he looked at the traditional shoes, as we see here on the left. Hopefully you can see this slide. And this is how he developed the idea for his shoes, using shape, form, and materials from his original traditional costumes. More examples of his work. Hand-woven buttons, as you can see, a key element here in his designs. So moving on to the last student, also Indian. So Sanganeri Prince, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, from Rajasthan. This is Jatinder Sandhu's work. Artisans have been creating, as you well know, hand-carved designs by wooden blocks and producing the most beautiful cotton prints for thousands of years. Rethinking the use of skills available, Jatinder focused mainly on the wood carving skills for the project, as well as some traditional printing. So here we see how he asked the artisans to carve the blocks, incorporating both traditional design and those contemporary logos of the famous brand. Using the wooden carved blocks from India as a tool to emboss the leather himself in the laboratory of Rome. So this is a sketch of his proposal for embossing a leather onto a bag. Artisan skills of wooden handcrafting to create a wedge heel, incorporating traditional design elements with those Fendi logos as the brand. So this is a heel that he had created in India, created by the artisans, which is a very original idea of to use their skills to produce a product, a final product, and not just a product to create a final piece of printed fabric. So the wooden handcraft wedge heel, made in India, assembled at ACM laboratories, enhanced with a contrast platform sole and a prototype FF Fendi Jacquard sock. Contemporary design and artisan hand carving put to very good use, and quite an exciting new image. He also used the carved wooden blocks, how they originally are thought out, for printing onto the surface, but this time printing with the wooden blocks onto leather to create a new looking sandal. And here we see the final product. It's probably not very clear in my image because the relief work is very subtle. But what is nice here, we also get to see the final work with a hand-woven, colourful striped strap, which gives more versatility to a product. The option of a cross-body wearability, also hand-woven. So, the methodology of this project. An apparently simple but extremely complex project which requires strong ability to interpret and research creatively and analyze the brand with a reference to the baguette design course was essential for the students. The in-depth and broad research of artisan traditions, artisan materials, the process was important also, with a view to keeping the craft alive by placing them in contemporary context. The realization of solutions and prototypes, material exploration and experimentation with craft that integrates with research. Good design is nourished by individual concepts that guides it to a new direction. Discovering newness with traditional craft and creation of luxury fashion product that has at its goal relevance that can support and sustain craft people financially and give them the respect and the right they deserve, preserving and developing historical skills. So the Fendi exhibition is open in Rome, Palazzo di Civiltà Italiana, and it's a public showcase celebrating Italian artisans and designed by Fendi team, and it shows the Italian artisans' wonderful work. And I visited literally just 2 days ago, and this was the exhibition itself, which is absolutely stunning, showing the 21 of a kind baguette alongside elements and tools, explaining the craft techniques. So this is what was beautiful. We weren't just looking at bags, which would be fundamentally pretty, but not very exciting. It was great to see elements of an explanation of each craft from different regions of Italy and how they developed those individual bags. A stunning exhibition. The brand developed collaboration with 20 atelier workshops, each located in Italian region from Trentino, Alta Adige, Val d'Aosta, Calabria, and Sicily, but generally all over. Here we see a bag with the coral work and photographs that I took in the exhibition. So from original coral and coral working to create a very luxury, expensive bag. And some more traditional hand-woven work, combining different elements of weaving as well as hand pleating and weaving and structuring. Beautiful to see just the simple bobbins and thread and the work and how they created the final artifact. So my small conclusion, I think it's quite interesting that when Catherine was summing up, there was a lot of similarity. So sustaining artisans and craft globally is part of the bigger picture of sustainability. So it is definitely a global discussion. We all have artisan crafts to rediscover and to sustain. Learning, so how do we do this? Through learning and research crafts and skills, which the students are doing during this event, which is highly commendable. Understanding their connection to locality and its culture. Communicating with the product to safeguard and enhance the heritage. So the product itself will play an important role to safeguard the heritage. With the purpose to sustain business by creating appreciation of craft, communicating the skills, communicating the existence of this different craft, creating design located in luxury fashion, as we were talking before, to elevate the idea of what is luxury fashion. Designing with newness in order to convert from craft to fashion. Global challenge is to sustain artisans' work, not just to repeat what has already been created for centuries, but to design with current taste towards a market taking into global fashion culture, creating fashion artifacts that have a long life and iconic appeal. So thank you very much for that opportunity to present this work to you. I hope you found it interesting, and I will stop sharing my screen now.
Very well said and very well presented. Thank you so much, Adrien, for presenting hand in hand. It's really an honor for all of us to see where the Indian crafts are reaching and being explored by renowned international designers. So thank you so much.